Canada, the second largest country globally, is situated in North America, directly north of the United States. It is surrounded by three vast oceans, the Atlantic, the Arctic, and the Pacific, forming a unique geographical position. Remarkably, Canada shares the world's longest border with the United States, spanning approximately 8,891 kilometers or 5,525 miles. An intriguing aspect of Canada's geography is that a significant portion of its population, around 80%, resides within just 100 miles of the United States border, with half of all Canadians living to the south of this line. Ontario, one of Canada's provinces, contributes substantially to the nation's economy, accounting for 38% of the Canadian GDP. This concentration of population near the border is primarily due to the availability of economic opportunities in these areas, where the largest industries in Canada, including real estate, mining, and manufacturing, are predominantly located. These industries are concentrated in provinces and regions where economic opportunities and resources are abundant. For example, mining might be prominent in provinces rich in minerals and resources. The colored circle likely represents a visual representation of the percentage change in house prices in different Canadian provinces over the last 10 years. House prices in Canada have doubled since the financial crisis. This could be due to various factors, including demand, economic growth, and housing market dynamics. The housing boom in Canada has been driven by consumer spending. In 2009, government stimulus programs and low central bank interest rates encouraged Canadians to take on debt to buy homes. Many people purchased homes with the hope or fear that prices would continue to rise. While rising interest rates have temporarily softened housing prices, the dream of home ownership remains elusive for most renters in Canada. A survey by IPSOS found that 63% of Canadians who don't own a home have given up on ever owning one. Immigration has contributed significantly to rental demand in Canada, as many newcomers initially rent homes rather than buy, sustaining the demand for rental units. Compared to most developed countries like the US and UK, Canadian house prices appear high relative to rents, making the Canadian housing market stand out. One distinguishing factor is that Canadians allocate a larger share of their investment capital to housing compared to businesses. Business investment in Canada, including non-residential structures, machinery equipment, and intellectual property, accounts for only 9.3% of GDP. Canada has witnessed a remarkable surge in housing investment, leading to an impressive 18.9% increase in the country's net stock of residential assets. This surge in housing now accounts for a substantial 22% of the nation's total wealth. Interestingly, a significant portion of the Canadian population appears to prioritize channeling their financial resources into housing as opposed to investing in businesses. The appeal of home ownership, with its potential for capital appreciation, has swayed many Canadians in this direction. However, the preference for housing-centric investments raises a fundamental question. Where will the jobs come from if local business investment remains neglected? It is well established in economic theory that business investment is a linchpin for driving economic expansion. Over the long haul, such investment amplifies the economy's overall productive capacity by expanding its physical capital stock. This expansion in turn facilitates the production of a greater quantity of goods and services using the same labor force and other resources. In essence, business investment is pivotal in fueling economic growth and creating job opportunities. In stark contrast, Canada appears to allocate a smaller proportion of its GDP to business investment compared to the United States. This discrepancy underscores a potential concern, suggesting that Canada may be underinvesting in business relative to the size of its economy. This divergence in investment strategies implies that Canada could face challenges in fostering sustained long-term economic growth and job creation if it does not shift its focus toward encouraging greater business investment. Business investment in Canada involves contributions from both domestic and foreign individuals or entities. Notably, Canada exhibits a lower level of domestic investment, which is partly compensated for by foreign direct investment, primarily originating from the United States. Canadian businesses in general do not often make significant global splashes or captivate international attention. A survey of 900 executives highlights a characteristic of the Canadian business landscape. Canadians tend to be more risk-averse compared to their counterparts in the United States. This risk aversion can influence investment decisions, potentially leading to a preference for safer or more conservative investment strategies. At a time when Canada's relationship with the United States is under strain, there is growing concern about the composition of the world's largest companies. Currently, 6 of the top 10 companies by revenue on Fortune's global list are either American or Chinese. In contrast, the top Canadian firm, Brookfield Asset Management, which operates in finance management, is ranked much lower at 158th place. This discrepancy underscores the challenges and differences in scale and reach between Canadian and major global enterprises. Ultimately, some distinctive aspects of Canada's economic landscape are influenced by its proximity to and economic ties with the United States, which plays a prominent role in both trade and investment in Canada. Canada, as a neighbouring country and with a closely intertwined economic relationship with the United States, has tailored its economic policies and practices to align with the influence of its southern neighbour. One significant aspect of this alignment is how American companies have established business operations in Canada, primarily to mitigate tariffs or taxes. However, it's essential to note that while these companies expand their operations in Canada, their headquarters and intellectual property often remain in the United States. This dynamic has led to an interesting trend in Canada's startup ecosystem where many promising new startups are being acquired by foreign companies, especially those based in the United States. One contributing factor to this trend is that when small Canadian companies decide to go public by selling shares on the stock market, they may lose certain tax benefits. As a result, they become more vulnerable to acquisition by larger foreign firms. Unfortunately, this pattern of foreign acquisition has implications for Canada's economic productivity and innovation. In comparison to the United States, Canada's economy is perceived as being less productive and innovative. To put this difference into perspective, the average income in Canada is approximately $60,000 per year, while their American counterparts earn around $80,000 per year. This means that by traveling just a few hours south to the United States, individuals can potentially increase their incomes by nearly 33% on average. Furthermore, Americans tend to work more hours than Canadians, logging about 3.5% more hours on average. These differences in income and work hours between the two countries underscore the economic consequences of Canada's unique economic landscape, shaped in part by its close relationship with the United States. The productivity gap between American and Canadian workers is evident, with the average American worker generating $74 per hour of value compared to $57 for their Canadian counterpart. This difference in productivity raises questions about the factors contributing to this gap. One of the primary factors behind this productivity gap is the concept of capital intensity. American businesses invest significantly more in capital, machines, tools, innovation, and overall capital per worker compared to Canadian businesses. Canadian companies spend approximately $13,000 per worker on capital, while their American counterparts allocate a substantially higher amount of $20,500 per worker for these purposes. This divergence in capital investment plays a crucial role in driving differences in productivity. Furthermore, Canada's expenditure on research and development lags behind that of other G7 countries. The United States in particular produces approximately double the number of patents per person compared to Canada. indicating disparities in innovation and technological advancement. The productivity of a country is closely tied to its standard of living and income per person. In 2022, Canada's income per person, adjusted for purchasing power parity, stood at $57,800, which was nearly $17,400 lower than that of the United States. Despite this income gap, Canada has managed to maintain lower levels of income equality compared to the United States. The Gini coefficient, which measures income inequality, has consistently been lower in Canada over the last 42 years, indicating a more equitable distribution of income. In the United States, income inequality has not only been higher, but has also increased at a faster rate during this period. However, Canada faces challenges in competitiveness. According to the IMD World Competitiveness Ranking, Canada ranks 14th out of 63 countries, marking its worst performance since 1997. It lags behind countries known for their strong labour protections, high wages, and aggressive free market economies, such as Singapore, ranked 3rd, and the United States, ranked 10th. Canada's need for increased innovation and creativity is evident, especially given its abundant pool of skilled and talented individuals, ranking 11th globally in talent. A phenomenon referred to as brain drain occurs when talented individuals leave Canada for better paying opportunities in the United States, highlighting the importance of retaining and utilizing domestic talent. Historically, Canada's economic dependence on natural resources including mining, lumber, oil, and natural gas has hindered investment in other sectors like manufacturing, research, and business activities. Natural resources have played a significant role in Canada's economy, accounting for a substantial portion of GDP and merchandise exports. While oil and vehicle exports have faced challenges, the services sector, including financial services, real estate, and communications industries, has exhibited strong growth. While oil and vehicle exports have faced challenges, the services sector, including financial services, real estate, and communications industries, has exhibited strong growth. Toronto in particular has emerged as a financial hub in North America, boasting a high concentration of financial services company headquarters in the Americas. Canada's banking system is also highly regarded for its stability and prudence. Despite economic challenges, Canada remains one of the world's strongest economies, characterized by a stable democratic government, a skilled workforce, a favorable business environment, and a reputation for low corruption. However, growth has not matched the pace of other advanced economies, and according to OECD predictions, this trend is unlikely to change significantly in the short term. If you found this video interesting and informational, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.